oops, into reality, as I'm getting some weird things going on here. Welcome to another unique moment in which we can talk to each other. Yes, you'll be wondering, what is he wearing? It is very cold in this studio right now, and I had one option, which was this wonderful leather jacket that I got some time ago. And yes, it is real leather. So let the issue begin, whether it's vegan leather or not. At this particular moment, it is keeping me warm, and the energies that are in it are quite responsible here, because we cannot let cold energy into our body when we're trying to do what? Energy work. So it is the solstice. So everyone that is here who has done a ritual or a ceremony this solstice, go into that Zoom chat and raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, click on participants button and you will see chat room appear, or click on the chat, sorry, not the participants. And you will be able to go and say hi to everybody in there and learn how to raise and lower your hand. And that is how we choose people from the wheel of callers. So I want to talk about solstice for just a moment. The most amount of light of the year. Well, you guys know me by now, that I'm a being of energetic equations, and helping everyone understand the amount of light that they have is the light that they can produce. And the world is harvesting our light. And therefore, there's always a negative sum game or a zero sum game when you're dealing with energy harvesting situations in instruments such as the Lightworker community and Facebook. Say hi to everyone that's watching live on Facebook. Ha ha. Each medium that comes to observe us has a different perspective and point of view. And the solstice is a perspective and point of view that has been passed down to us from generation to generation to generation since the dawn of generations began. We've been looking to the sky and wondering when to plant our crops, when to do our rituals, when to do this, when to do that, when is the right time to travel. That has created a variety of other systems that use astrology. Dun, dun, dun. Over the last many years, astrologers and psychics and predictor people have all given their concepts. Now, this is not a blanket saying that they don't work. They do work based off of the observer and the entangled process within them. It is the very nature of belief systems and belief engines. So I want everyone to contemplate right now, what is your personal belief engine about the solstice or equinox? And if you can look back and find what it was before you did your own rituals and ceremonies that meant something to you. And can you give a comparison and contrast in a couple sentences, and go ahead and write it in the chat room here. I'm asking you to really delve into your inner genius. And what is the real difference in how you see solstice before you had sacred energies within you and doing it out of your own will, and after? This is a perspective of comparison and contrast. Both are perfectly valid. So go ahead. All right, everyone, get your fingers moving. I see oneness. Great answer. Can be a little bit more wordy. Used to look at solstice as summer beginning. Now I see it as an opportunity to create unlimited potential. Thank you, Joyce. That's right. Start thinking in that much bigger sense. It is when you can choose to be of contribution and service with your prayers, and still have a part of those prayers that are solely for yourself, because it is not selfish. Finding that delicate balance of contribution and service to yourself for self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-exploration. All righty. Used to go to other types of spiritual groups on solstice to understand how people tick. That's a good one too. Somebody said, activates my hidden DNA. Yes, that is another internal perspective when we're searching for vision. That's not just eyesight vision, that's foresight vision. where you can create in the moment of line of potential that are putting your source energy behind and say, can I do that? Or am I envisioning that? So a vision of a vision is the next level here, where that vision of your spiritual ceremonies becomes manifestation. That is that biological imperative that we all have to connect to source, imprinted within our what? Programmable DNA skin suits. Over the years, I have presented a tremendous amount of new linguistics to the whole community, and they have spread. And do I really care if I've coined a phrase and it's used anywhere else? Sometimes. And then other times, I'm glad that those phrases have made it into keyword searches and so on and so forth. So what I'd like for everyone to do is to think of some of the words or word orders I've put together, such as spiritual hygiene and programmable DNA skin suits. Yes, I was the first one to say that back in 2013. And other typical word combinations. And go ahead and write them in the chat. And what we do is we have somebody that goes through all of these chat messages here for those that are in the Zoom chat that are part of the people that are going to be from the selection of callers. So that is for everyone that is watching on YouTube. If you want to get in, right now we only can hold 100 people inside that chat room, and it is pretty much full every time. Next week, we will be going up to 500 people in the chat room, be allowed. That'll be a potential pool of callers. So let everyone know if you want to get into potential pool of callers, you have to have the Zoom function either on your phone or on your computer. And there's detailed instructions when you sign up for the emails. All right. Connecting to the natural sources of truth, light, and that can never be manipulated or controlled by the system. It is the light that we can never be hidden in a direct portal. Beautiful. Okay? Those are all examples. Beyond the veil of sources light. Yes, that is a great one. That is a multidimensional thinking that sources had sources who had sources before them, and it's the nature of sources of sources. So easily said for me because I've been doing this since I was 9. What am I doing? Computing the unlimited point of view in 26-letter encoded English alphabet. That is the literal truth of what I do. Over the years, many people have seen me do different things. Like I was recently asked many times over the last year, why don't I ask about people's first dream world in the beginning? There are many answers to that, but it leads people into only talking about dreams and then them about being super soldiers because some $20 an hour psychic said they were a super soldier and they went on Facebook and became part of some super soldier groups and then imprinted themselves with a whole bunch of bullshit. And I got to say, you should really learn to use some discernment when somebody's telling you that form of life-changing information. And for anybody out there that's that version of who repeats that you're all super soldiers, you need to go look in your own mirror. Okay, there's been people that are super soldiers that come on the show, and I don't tell them. They already know. They already know. Okay, and a variety of other people from music stars have been on the show live, and you've never recognized them. All sorts of people. So now, we're going to take an opening. Last week, I asked everyone that was in the current audience to put into their mind what is the perfect caller. Now, you all heard me say I don't want to tell another person what's their purpose, because if you don't know your purpose was to call the show and for me to say, hey, your purpose is done. Now what? You have an infinite amount of purposes. If you're looking for an avenue in which you can explore and have to use self-education, meaning you actually have to use a bit of courage to go follow through with things, I will give you a recipe of resurrection of the self. Why do I use resurrection? Because most people have lost their will to do things for themselves and are codependent in such a way of validation from the external world. And unfortunately, that's the way our world's been taught. You need external validation. You don't need external validation. You need your own internal permission slips. So I want everyone right now to write a permission slip to themselves that says we are going to have a perfect set of callers, ones who are equal to the level of awareness of all the other listeners here, so that we can get something uniquely unusual for this Solstice show. That is an adventure into reality, that has hundreds of hours and thousands of callers as an archive, that's a standing wave in time, that is observed and unobserved, entangled and unentangled, locality, non-locality, and all those other things that are quantumly entangled with it. Each and every one of you, how did you come to find me? And I'm an emanation. And within you is that emanation also. Now, does it come through a reflection? Does it come through knowingness? What avenue or window or portal did it come to? So, Robert, I want you to spin the wheel of collars and see what the universe offers. Wheel of collars. And we have...
Okay, first caller is going to, wait, let me get some people in the room here. Katerina.
Katerina, are you there?
I knew I was on a show tonight. I knew it. Oh my God. Am I unmuted? I'm not sure.
Yes, 1 second, please. Robert, I'm getting it in my headphones, but the sound, I'm not getting them back into my headphones. So
I'm using headphones right now. Should I take them out?
No. I'm just talking to my producer, Robert. We forgot to check on something in the checklist. All right, so it's just going to be a little weird having to hear through headphones. It's fine. All right. So, Katerina, where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Germany.
Germany. How did you find? How did I come to you?
You know Sean Bond. He's
yes.
Your student, and he. I had a session with him, or 2 sessions, and he told me about sacred space and how I should generate it, and then also spiritual contracts and stuff. So he recommended you, and then I followed your work since last year.
Great. So what about the material has grabbed you? What is it that you really like to ask questions about?
Not a question, but I would recommend every viewer to do the salt, silver, and sage. That was something how I got my dreams back. What I used is a crystal called Takaimer diamond. I've added it to the mix, and I always tell people, if you don't believe it that you can remember your dreams, just do that. I mean, this is foolproof. It's nothing so spiritual. When you do it, you really can remember. And so I just that was something that I resonated the most with me. I had a million of questions, but right now I don't know. I'm sorry. All the questions are gone right now from my mind. And,
in this form of people that come with this level of excitement, it brings a kind of really fun energies to me. So I'll just have you do this little exercise. I just want you to close your mind from external sources and allow the perfect question in the perfect moment to come forth and just ask it. Blank mind. I'll show you to keep a silent mind. Let's just clear that stuff out of you.
I don't want to disappoint anybody. I feel like
it's not about what they want, darling.
I know that's my problem. I want to be there for everybody else and just pick.
And that's a martyr. And that is a martyr. And that is a perfect way to teach right now how to stop being a martyr. Just say to yourself, at this moment, I do not need to be a martyr. I'm allowing myself to have this moment, and it is not selfish. For you being authentically you without restriction is what? A gift to everyone in the audience, because everyone here in the audience is for what? Here for authenticity.
How is it? You know, it's so crazy because most of the things we already know. If you ask the question, then you should usually, you know the answer yourself. And I think that for most people, when you just said that people know they are super soldiers, they already know in their heart, or they should know. Then when you ask any question like, am I this or am I that, then you people know. So
No,
I don't know. I wanna
that's a
ask
big
a question for everybody.
So here's a little back. This is a way to get the question out, because some people have a misunderstanding of how things come to knowingness. So I just want you to use the idea of a computer. If you have a external hard drive plugged in or not. When I'm using the skill, I have multiple external hard drives plugged in. When I'm not, they're not plugged in. So I don't know everything. It's not until a moment a question is asked and
Yes.
the actual channels are open. Does a line of potential create? And a line of potential starts in the pineal gland from you and then comes to me as a pulse of light. And then my pineal gland makes a pulse of light back to you, meaning it's received, just like TCP packets in computing. Very similar. We are just biological computers. Well, once that creates two separate points where we use something like Heisenberg uncertainty principle to define the photons of light going between the two rods and cones in the third eye is creating the atoms or thoughts in everywhere and nothingness, which creates a oneness field or a unique perception of all that is, was, or ever will be from this moment to moment to moment expression. And from that, a variety of other lines that are all parallel realities that have a valuable and variable in this reality, which is all about resolution of karma. This is the perception of the Akashic Records that I use specifically here in the fifth world of peace. Other readers from other generations and other eras of history use their perspective. And the next generation that comes with that will use their perspective. We're at the dawn of a brand new era of light. The old era of light has ended. The new era of light has begun. And now there are new sets of valuables and variables that change the karmic perceptions. So what I can do is put potential into the future that has the atom being everywhere, nothing more, which is the photon of light of the thoughts and control, creating light bodies that are perceiving separate parallel realities as an individual perspective. And then all the individual perspectives are correlated into one pulse of light. That pulse of light gets translated into 26-letter encoded English alphabet. So it's taking the unlimited point of view, many thousands and millions and billions of perspectives, and then combining them into something that's 26-letter encoded English. For what purpose? So each and every one of you feel those willies on your spine going, hey, I've had something just like that. Why is this person constantly in forms of synchronicities? Why does the show play in the background? The next thing you know, people are talking about it. Because that is the nature of what we're doing. Each and every one of you are signature frequency match for these sacred energies. Does that make me special? Only because I choose, but each and every one of you can do it too. Be special. In what way, shape, and form? Any way you choose.
I have a question regarding oracles. You said that this would be special and unique. So I already know from Sean that I have all kinds of different DNAs and stuff, but the problem is I cannot use it. I can tell right from wrong and I know the answer, but I cannot do things like seeing, like, how do you say it, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, everything. It's just that I know, and I don't want to be selfish or like you call those people know-it-alls. Mm-hmm. I don't have proof. It's not that I see it. I just know.
Have proof. I don't have proof.
How do you know it? I mean, do you see it in front of your eyes, or how do you know the answers from the people that call you?
Because I understand light and the pulses of light and the flickers of light, and it's its own perception. Most people are codependent on some form of psychic vision to validate truth to them. And unfortunately, that's a flaw in human characteristics. You can't use external sight to validate internal sight. It's a subjective reality. Okay? So the understanding here is you can do this, but you're still in hesitation or doubt of your own validation. I don't have proof. I did the Galactic history in 2013. There was nothing else out there like it, nothing to validate it. It was its own self-validation from everyone that listened it and watched it and has come to the show since then, as is every other word through that. What does it take for you to validate your own work? So you're looking for a victory before it's happened. I believe you have all those skills in you, but you're exactly saying it right. Now what? Unfortunately, this is like, sometimes we present information that you can't do anything with, and it actually weighs you down and holds you back. Okay.
I see some people in the chat room, they're talking about quantum healing stuff. It's and Dolores Cannon, and I tried regression, and I tried to have a session like that twice, but I don't get anything. I'm completely blank.
Okay. What do you
Why
do
is
for?
that?
What do you do as a job?
I'm working at my parents' company, so I'm really codependent. I'm this really.
Okay, then your answer is your codependency is what's stopping you from having spiritual experiences, because you're
Okay.
afraid if you go and have a spiritual experience, you won't be dependent on those anymore, because so much of your reality is entwined with them. Unfortunately, that's a truth for a whole swath of people out there who are wondering why they're not having experience, because you're codependent on something at such an internal level that you won't allow yourself to have spiritual experiences, as well as a variety of other things that come with codependency: hidden depression, hidden shame, blame, and guilt, martyrdom, putting everyone's
Your teaching
before your own.
helps a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how long you been at that job?
Oh, I don't know.
That long. That long.
Yeah, like
When
10
anyone
years.
goes, I don't know. Let me tell you something. I've talked to so many people in my life. As soon as they say I don't know, they should have left the job a long time ago.
No, I should take over the company. It's my destination and something I should do, but I'm afraid of letting people down and taking the responsibility.
Listen, in big business, you are going to step on toes and roll over people with cars. If not, you will fail. People will take everything they can from you. The unfortunate truth about business. Okay. Get over it. If it's your destiny, step in and do it. Stop being hesitation and suck it up, buttercup.
I know.
So what's stopping you? What's actually stopping you?
Fear. Fear
of what?
and of failure, that I have to go to the bank and I don't know, take a big mortgage or something for the company. So
you don't believe that you could run the you don't believe you could run the company and make money with it?
Truth is, I'd rather be just a mom. I don't see myself as an entrepreneur girl. That was something that I wanted to do for a long time, but right now I just I don't know. I know it sounds stupid, but I want to be this housewife type of girl.
Okay.
So
how many children do you have?
I don't have children. I'm 30 something, and it's just yeah.
Well, the clock is ticking here, you know.
I'm not exactly sure. Do you think?
Well, you're not. Are you pregnant now?
No, but
so you're not pregnant. You're not pregnant. You have no kids. Are you married?
No.
So the whole vision that's holding you back, that you might have to do all that, is based on nothing that you have currently in your life. Can you see how ridiculous that your sympathetic and parasympathetic is by its arguments for limitations? That is an argument for limitation. Flip it around. What is an argument for your success?
Why is it an argument for limitation? Just because you don't have something right now doesn't mean you won't get it in the future. Everybody started out without kids and not being married. Everyone.
Right. So are you putting all of your focus on finding a man so you can have the child?
Not all my focus, but a lot, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So business is one of the great ways to meet people, especially when you're at networking parties. I
know, and I'm part of a business circles, but at least 80% are already married. So, Yeah, if not more.
Because they have families to support. And they get up off their ass and become doers. Also, other than running this company, what other things have you thought about doing?
You mean for a profession?
Yep.
That's nothing the last years, really. I don't want to be a healer because if I tell people how to heal, they don't do it. I mean, it's so easy to just tell people, like if people are fat and you tell them how to lose weight and they will just look at you and be like, oh, I don't have the time. And it's the same with healing too. So that's, I know everybody wants to be a healer, but I'm the kind of frustrated one if I tell people what not to do in order to heal. They don't want to give up their lifestyle that made them sick. So yeah,
that's true. I run into people like that all the time too. But then you got to learn not to talk to just those people.
Yeah.
And you'll find a whole different group of people who talk back to you. Yeah. See, you're still looking for external validation. It's even coming out in your subtle answers. I would really like for you, this solstice, to really look at the very subtle you who's been forced to do a set of choices that you don't really want to do. All you really want to do is have kids, but for some reason you're saying you still want to run this company because it's going to be passed on to you. You don't really want to do it. What do you really want to do? Only you know that.
I don't. I don't. I was raised not to have wants and needs. My mother always said I was like that from the beginning. Even as a baby, I never cried. Even when I was hungry, she said it's so weird. I mean, but I don't know.
Right, I'm gonna push this a little bit. Are you afraid of telling your family you could be like a psychic, or you want to go down that area?
No, my mother is very psychic. She had one session with Sean, and then all her blocks were gone, and she has visions and everything. So my parents, they believe into all of that. I have the time to do it, as a hobby. I don't have to work from 9 to 5. I can only work like 3 days a week, so I can spend the other days.
Here's another way to look at it. You are a business person and you want to look for something else to do. It's very easy to put together, groups of people. Okay? They can go and have their own sessions with whoever you put together in your own little cadre of people that you can recommend. Hint, hint, wink, wink. It's a big business model all over the world. Okay?
The problem is I don't have any abilities.
You don't need to. You can hire them.
You mean psychic?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I've turned those networks down for the longest time because I self-produce all the way through. That's my particular choice. So you got to expand your horizons. Too much of you is in a limited space right now. And a lot of the information you've learned over the years is now actually bogging you down. Stop looking for external validation. You've already have enough validation in every breath you take and every move you make. The universe is always watching you and you're never not a part of it. Even in those moments when you're in doubt or hesitation about yourself. You can go and be super successful in your parents' company and transform it. All you got to do is take the reins and take the responsibility. But right now, I'm going to be brutal. You're chicken shit. You are plain chicken shit of the responsibility.
I know.
Get over it. Put on the big girl panties. Walk into the office and take over. That's what CEOs do. If not, get out of the way and go be a housewife. Ouch. But this is what you set up. We are creating it all. You created all of this. I'm just pointing it out. As everybody in the Zoom chat's laughing. What can you do, darling, what can you really do to motivate yourself? You don't know. That means you need to spend a lot of inner work time on it. You need to spend a lot of inner work time. Stop all the other stuff. Stop with your triple PhD in YouTube. Get your master's degree in Facebook over. You don't need them anymore. They are just wasting your time right now if you're in this state and you don't know. Okay? And that's for everyone else out there. You don't know.
You told me, you asked me all the questions which I don't have the answer for. It's so weird. I mean, I could have answered and I was prepared for all kinds of questions, but not the ones you asked me for.
You get what you need in the moment. Okay. Right now, this solstice is saying there's some deep inner work that you have to do on your own personal motivation. Deep down inside, you know you're a genius. It's just no one's really validated it for you enough in your lifetime.
Nobody ever validated me.
Right.
I was suffering under depression.
Okay. Well, here, you've been validated. Pink, you've got your validation stamp. Now what? Now what? Okay? You can add it onto your CV. I gave you your validation stamp. All right, Donna, I got to let you go and move on to the next caller. Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Heidi. All right, Robert, let's spin the wheel of callers.
Okay, next caller will be Leanne. It sounds like Leanne.
Leanne, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, where are you calling from?
I am in Goose Creek, South Carolina.
Ah, beautiful. So how did you find out about me?
Oh my gosh, I've been listening to you since about 5 minutes after I woke up 4 years ago. And I have been, eventually I figured out that I would probably get to talk to you when I was ready and, you know, in the right place, which I'm not saying that I am, but you know, that's why I probably wasn't successful I used to get frustrated.
All righty. So what about the materials attracted you over all these years?
I can't really say anything wasn't attractive. The main thing I struggled with was consistency and actually doing the work. And I still haven't done the ceremonies proper. And you know, I think I'm ready for a community now, though. I've done all of this on my own, and my biggest comfort has been the earth. And I took pictures not long after I awoke, and I accidentally caught an orb, a beautiful orb. And since then, I have been catching orbs of all sizes, like as big as a city and as small as a spirit, and all kinds of things, worm-like things, thread-like things. It's really just given me, I don't know, it's helped me to grow right into myself. And I think the biggest gift is just being okay to be by myself and with myself. And I still have a lot of work to do. The more I learn, the more I realize I have a lot to learn. But you know,
it's a never-ending cycle of learning. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, that's
never-ending cycle. And that's why we got to be joyous with it, even into the never-ending cycle.
Yeah, and I'm finally getting to do that. That's always been even through the, you know, some of us have a shit sandwich, excuse my French, for life, but I never stopped looking. I never stopped looking for the joy, though. And I think that for a long time, I maybe told myself I was a punk for that. I didn't realize I was saying that to myself, but I was, you know. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I have 2 teenagers now, so that's probably got me feeling like it's even more, you know, but at the same time, Andrew, I'm realizing that they're going to have to walk their path. Like they don't want to hear me. I've never steered them wrong. They're teenagers, so they're in the middle of all of that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one thing I've told them is I don't want you to believe anything. I just want you to consider everything. And they are very stubborn right now. So I'm backing off, and I'm just going to have to do me while taking care of them. But I can't keep trying to pull them in. And I feel like that's the right decision, but I am still looking for something. You know, the joke is I was raised by wolves. So I'm doing everything on my own always. And it can be a little scary because it's not just me. Now I have these kids, right? So
let me ask you a question. What do you do for a job?
just take care of my surrogate dad and my 2 kids.
So how do you survive?
Through child support and taking care of my surrogate dad.
Okay.
He's elderly.
What bigger dreams do you have?
I definitely want to help. You know, I'm hoping that I'm a Blu-ray and a twin flame. So what I'm hoping is that I'm gonna actually get to do something. You know, that the kids are at an age. There's only a couple years left where they really need me, and then I can be free. And maybe I'm gonna meet my twin flame, and then my basic understanding is that's another part of me. So that should make me stronger, and then I can maybe my abilities will, you know, activate, and I'll have done more growth by then. And like I would love to go to the land even. Like I love crystals, but I don't know anything about them. I only have one, and I've worn it on me for the last since it arrived at my house. I put it inside my bra, and I've never taken it out except for like to put it in the sun and stuff like that, you know, to recharge it. So, and I'm chatty, and I'm so sorry, and I'm also excited. So I'm so sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, it's fine. So you have a very interesting dilemma right now. And the dilemma is, what is it going to take for you to start activating your own time so you can have things being done for yourself? And you're still looking for an end. It's in 2 years from now, but what is it that you can do today? That's your stumbling block right now. What you can actually do today versus waiting for 2 years for the kids to be potentially out of the house. That doesn't mean they're going to be out of the house. And that doesn't
Right.
mean the person you're watching is not going to be in a much worse situation or a much better situation. You don't know that.
No.
Right. So what
Yeah.
can you start doing now for yourself? Well, the first thing you need to do is understand that you need some separate form of stream of minor income that you can start squirreling away for yourself so that in 2 years you can actually go and take a break. Okay. Have you been able to put any money aside?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Then kids going to take a lot of those money too. You know that.
Yeah.
All
They
right.
don't know. Nobody knows about this.
All right. Well, you need to start another stream of income in another way. How old are the kids?
14 and 16. They're both going to be 15 and 17 in
Are they both
December.
really into video games?
One of them is.
Do you know what game that he's playing?
He plays Minecraft, and I can actually ask him right now if it's that important. But it's a multitude. He's got a pass, I pay for a pass for him. But that is the huge issue that we have.
Ask him if he plays Fortnite.
I've heard. I think I've heard of that. Patty Cake, Patrick, do you ever play Fortnite? You don't like it? Okay. Okay, I'm just curious. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, he says he does once in a while, but only because of his friend likes to play it. But otherwise, he says he doesn't even like the game.
All right. It tells me the types of games he's in. So there is a way to turn your child's video game energy into making money.
Okay.
Okay. And that's calling him streaming his own video games that he's doing, and people like give donations and support. I'm dead serious.
Right. Yeah, no, I know he watches those, and he literally, that's the only thing that bonds us. He came in here yesterday and we were watching.
So get this, there are people that are doing these video game, this is for all you old elderly people out there that don't know how the other world works. There is a channel called Twitch, which we broadcast on now too, that broadcasts to video gamers who are just playing their video game at their computer at home, and they're showing people how to do this game over and over. And many of them get 30, 40, 50,000 viewers.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And then they have this system where you can send them tips and all this other stuff and just interact with them. And there are people making tens of thousands of dollars a month. Yes. They have Prime memberships, everything. Tens of thousands per month on these all these video game things.
Yeah, we have a Prime membership, if you mean Amazon Prime.
Ask him if he wants to set up his own Twitch Prime channel to help the house. So I'll pay up some bills.
And I think he would actually like that even.
Right. He's probably going to crap a brick.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's your idea. Just start a Twitch
Thank
channel.
you.
Anyone can do it. It's free. Okay. It's really
Sure.
simple. Not
Okay.
taking advertising dollars. There's kids doing it all over the world. What's going to make theirs any different?
Okay. Yes, that's
Your
awesome because
support. Your support is what's going to make theirs any different.
yeah, well, and he's, all this will be something else because that's good for encouraging him. You know what I mean? It'll be,
Yeah. Instead of going to work at McDonald's, go open a Twitch channel.
yeah, yeah.
Make more money, unfortunately. So, parents out there, if you don't know that, here's a little inside world.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, before I lose you, I do want to just throw this one thing at you is that I understand that I'm responsible for it.
Mhm.
And I think I know what I have to do. So the question would be about my health, my pelvis, my joints, and especially my pelvis, because I have put on weight quite suddenly. And I
Mhm.
was on a medication, a strong medication, and it's methadone. It allowed me to wake up and change my life, but now I'm coming off of it and it shouldn't be much longer. But I'm taking it steady because I don't want to be. I'm experiencing my body for the first time and waves and levels too, and the pain that's there is awful. But
Mhm.
I'm devoted, so that's not the problem. The problem is what I want to know is and I know I have to give up the Mountain Dew, but am I going to be able to heal myself, or is this something that I have just more hardship I have to get used to and then find joy on the other side of somehow?
Until you cut out sugar,
Yes, that's my
99,
huge.
no, until you cut out 99% of your sugar and actually
Okay.
get nutritional counseling, this will go
Hmm.
on and on and on. I have
Wow.
worked
Okay.
privately with a lot of people that are coming off a variety of drug and alcohol situations, and it's the withdrawals that get them 9 months, 4 months, 12 months into it.
Okay.
Deep
Yeah, I've heard that too.
subconscious withdrawals. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
And without nutrition, you can't survive the withdrawals. It's why
Yeah,
it's a vicious cycle.
and that physical activity would certainly help, but that's limited right now because I love walking and going in
Well,
nature and
once you have real nutrition and you're held
yeah,
accountable to the protein that you eat, and you're not glutened up,
yeah,
wound up inside, have done enough colonics to clear yourself out and restart your microbiotics or macrobiotics, guess what? I mean, life is a lot easier.
yeah.
Do you know that they've actually done scientific studies that, like, you ever heard of what's called chana or chickpea bread?
I've heard of chickpea.
Well, chickpea bread, it's called chana. Well, if you learn to
Okay.
eat a lot of chickpea, you won't ever get angry.
Okay.
You won't ever, the stuff that chemically makes you angry can be countered by chickpea. So yeah, you can make a docile person out of just eating chickpeas. Think of that. You don't actually have the juice to make anger last. That's how important nutrition is to everyone out there, especially anyone that's recovering from any physical, mental, or spiritual issue. Your chemical body's totally out of whack. Okay. So nutrition, to actually go somebody who's a nutrition specialist, and that's going to create a pattern of consumption and how to cook for you. And you can learn to cook for yourself and for your family and watch them change too. The next part is colon health. You truly, truly, truly want to get out of pain, fix your colon. Okay. Get your nutrition going. And then the biggest bang for your healing dollar was going forward after nutrition, and that flotation tanks, sensory deprivation. Because you're on methadone and the type of process that methadone does, as a variety of other drugs, it breaks and creates traumas right at the pattern where you're falling asleep. So you get to this moment in your deep theta and about to go into delta or deep delta, and a fear program turns on through your adrenaline glands, and you don't go to sleep. You wake up, you go to sleep. Wake up, you don't actually stay asleep in high delta and get REM sleep. Okay? Therefore, you're sleep deprived all the time, and then you entered an anemic state. Okay? Right now, if you were to have blood work done, you would be right on the verge of being anemic right now, meaning that you're actually consuming your own internal organs for proper nutrients. Think of that. So anybody out there that's on the verge of anemia and you know it, it's time to take your life into order and get it done. So for you, nutrition, flotation tanks, turning the brain off. Okay? Do you have any alcohol? Do you drink any alcohol? You there, caller?
She's still unmuted, but we're not hearing anything.
Maybe she's muted on her side. Are you there? Hello, hello. We can't hear you. She went to get her blood work done, somewhere in the chat room. All right, Robert, let's move on to the next caller. And if she comes back, we'll see what we can do with her. She went to get her blood work done. That's good.
Gotta love the chat room. Okay. Yes. Next caller is going to be one of our phone-in folks with the last four digits. Oh shoot, they moved around. 6811.
6811. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, where are you calling? What's your name and where are you calling from today?
My name's Donna. I'm calling from Burlington, Ontario.
Burlington, Ontario. Donna, welcome to the show. How did you find out about me?
I was referred to from another friend of mine.
Okay. How long you been listening for?
A couple of years now.
Okay. So what made you want to call in and have a conversation? Anything special you want to talk about?
I was just drawn to you today for some reason with the solstice and everything else. Yesterday was Indigenous Day here, and I participated in a tobacco offering, and I smudged myself in a beautiful place down in Toronto and had a wonderful day. And I really was celebrating with solstice, so I was drawn to your subject today.
Great. So what did you want to talk about? What are you, any specific questions about solstice, the energies? All the records are open.
About energies. I'm a medium, and when I'm connecting in with the other side, I do that fairly well. But then I also get souls that are alive coming in to talk to my client, and that's thrown me because I can't tell the difference in the densities, and I'm not sure why that's happening and how I can discern between the two.
How long has this been going on for?
About 3 years.
You know, roughly a more accurate of 3 years, like is it summer 3 years ago, winter 3 years ago?
It would be summer 3 years ago.
So 2016, June to the summer.
Yeah.
And can you remember your very first experience with it?
It was a child, and the girl was concerned that her child was dying because I connected with the child. He was a 7-year-old boy wanting to talk to his mother.
All right, so it was a living being that might have been dead in a potential future, and you were connecting to it?
No, he just had a message for his mother, and it was just at a soul level, and it was talking about the love he has for a mother and how profound it was.
Okay. And then the next set of experiences kind of went along the same way?
Yeah, it would be, I had one just this week, and it was someone's sister was coming through.
Okay. Well, you're now experiencing the bleed overs of other realities as we live in the fifth world of peace, which is the omnipresent timeline that's on linear time right now. So it's a limited, unlimited point of view. But
Right.
here is where everyone's trying to be. And as we become more into the denser eighth color time, meaning the 7-color experience of the previous era light is N, and we're now reaching a new color of time being added to our overall galactic cluster and space that we're moving into. So that means fundamentals are changing, and you're beginning to experiencing the changing those fundamental physics and realities that people like you and I can do.
Okay.
So why would the daughter be coming in? Well, because the daughter is a prime simultaneously existing in other spaces and places that are no longer valid to the very valuables and variables here in this reality. And that's being referred to as being shut down, meaning they can no longer simultaneously emanate to many more places because those places are no longer in 7-color time. They're in fully 8-color time. So its potentialities, past, present, and future, and all prediction models, past, present, and future, are no longer valid in these moments that we are in between the tick and tock of galactic and universal time. And bleed over is from the pressure and compression from the multiple density layers. I know that's a lot to take in, but
No, I get it. I totally get it.
You totally get it.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I knew you could. And it's going to get more stranger, more and more stranger.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Okay. So
I do deal with multidimensional realities often now.
So how does one prepare for strangeness?
I accept it. I just welcome it. I originally was trying to, I'm very logical. I have got a really good, strong left brain, but I'm also very right brain. Good balance. I used to question it. Now I don't. I just go with it. And it's like, okay, that's cool.
Sometimes that doesn't work. This level of strangeness is you can't look at it as an analogical brain at all.
No.
Okay. And as long as you're looking at it as an analogical brain, you'll reach a point where it's just a circular set of questions that never end. This Fibonacci sequence into infinity, and that's known as a logic virus. Unfortunately, our programmable DNA do have limitations that were put into them so that we couldn't understand some of the unlimited point of views and how simple they are to understand. Now, when these strange things come, they are presenting an unlimited point of view that can be simply understood. Now, a while ago, I think in one of my mentorships groups, somebody asked me, what's coming up for the year 2019? And I just went month by month by month. And I mentioned in the February, what was happening, February, March, that the stock markets would start to have Mandela effects. So a Mandela effect is something where one person remembers it another way and a whole group of people remember it another way. And the big groups of people remember it all different ways. Well, think of like, let's say the names of the stock market's main top 10s, one of their little ticker names changed. And then there was half the stock market believed it was one way, another half believed it was another way. Okay. How would that fundamentally affect our world? I would really fuck with a lot of people's belief engines.
Yeah, it would. It would cause a lot of chaos.
Yes. Now, for you as an individual who's about to experience even more strangeness, how can you prepare yourself for strangeness that is not using the analogical mind?
That I don't know. It's a good question.
You embrace it.
Okay.
You embrace it, and you learn to become an unpredictable source being yourself with all the connections that you have for what specific purpose? For altering the reality around here to create contribution and service with what it is that you're doing that is the higher service to light without ego or anything else driving you, the true authentic you.
Yeah, no, I've been embracing that. I know I'm holding light for a lot of people right now.
Nah. You can only hold light for yourself no matter what.
I do, but I'm also supporting others around.
Doesn't matter. The rest of that's martyrship right now.
Okay.
For you in this exact moment of time.
Yes.
Why?
I'm only holding it for me.
Because you've given away too much of yourself over the last many years.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. The more you claim back, the more mystical strengths experiences are going to show you to go back and do that even more and more and more and more. Like the dynamo wheel in you is turning.
Got it.
Have you taken any healing classes?
Many. I'm a Reiki healer. I'm a Reiki master.
What else do you do? What other classes?
Crystals. Well, I do a lot of meditation. It's hard. Like I've done something called Bhavaspada, which is healing through the heart.
Yep.
I'm a Diksha giver.
Okay.
Which is the Oneness University in India.
Yep, I know what it is.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of different modalities in my life.
That's a lot of study.
Yeah. It's 20 years worth.
How many people in the audience can say that they've done 20 years of study? Not many.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a feng shui consultant too.
Okay. How many years did that take to learn?
It's a day on learning.
Yeah, it's a lot of learning. It's nonstop. Okay?
Yeah, it is. It's always, there's a quest for knowledge for me, but also for experience. I've got to put in place what I know. I've got to experience it to really understand it.
But when is enough, and you're going to actually put something to action that takes you to a different level?
I'm actually starting to write a book on Reiki right now. I've already done the outline and I've done a few chapters, and I continue to do that. It's kind of a go-to, talking about multidimensional healing, going back to a hologram, when you're going back to healing so that you can go to the healthy hologram to raise that vibration up, and some other things that I'm getting into.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a website?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I keep getting malware on it. It keeps taking me down.
On your website?
Yep.
Are you trying to do it yourself?
I've got my domain name keeps getting malware.
Something else is going on wrong. Your domain name can't get malware.
Okay. Yeah, I keep getting from GoDaddy malware, and then they have to go in and clear it up.
Somebody's not telling you the truth there.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody's not telling you the truth there.
Yeah, okay.
Because you can build a site in WordPress or any of the builder sites, and it should be perfectly protected all the time, and it's going to cost you $10 a month.
Yeah, no, I will. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Has that technology been an issue with you before?
Yes.
And would you say that it's?
I have computers go down. I have a problem with electronics because I blow things.
Yeah.
My energy gets low too high at times.
Guess what? I blow multiple computers a year until I just got tired of blowing computers per year, and I had to change my relationship with my computer.
I know. I love my computer.
No, you need to change your relationship with it, or you are going to experience, we'll just call it poltergeist sabotage.
Yeah, I've had that happening for 10 plus years.
Well, as Robert, my producer, can attest to, there's just strange things go on when you get high energy. Well, sometimes it's not high energy; it's just us being dumb. Okay, and saying it's high energy, and that's what the poltergeists like to do, is confuse you if you're doing it or it's doing it. And is it an it? Well, it's you that you've empowered to fuck with you. Why? Yeah. Because it's our shadow. It's our shadow making manifestation. And I'm really serious. You need to break whatever fear technology you got, because it's got power over you right now. So much power. It's limiting your capacity to have anything flow over your way that's more significant than you've already experienced.
Okay. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then take a really hard look at the shadow and its fear of technology, because it means it's no longer going to have that great control over you.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Okay. You're a brilliant person. You should really be able to put a website together that should be able to do and shows you all your services. Features who you are. Start putting videos on the computers, up on YouTube.
Yep. No, I hear you. No, it sounds great. Thank you. I was blind to that.
Okay. Now one more little tick.
Yep.
Are you actually asking your value and getting your value when you're
No, I'm not.
Why?
No, I'm not.
Why?
Because I was trying to accommodate people that really couldn't afford. I charge $100 an hour, which is reasonable, but that way I can get more people in.
But that's a zero-sum game. The more people you do, the more tired you get.
That's true.
That's the shadow at work.
Okay.
If you do not ask your value, you will not get your value back, will you? You might get some cash. Well, let me tell you something. When you're doing 40, 50, 80 people a month, it's like having two full-time jobs. One being a server at a restaurant that's busy from the moment you get in to the moment you get out, and you see 1,000 people in an 8-hour shift. And the other jobs are like an emergency room, a nurse or technician for all the traumas you see.
Right.
Okay. It's not easy.
Nope.
Okay?
I got it.
Can do it. Okay.
Yep. No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. How many clients a month has been your peak?
25.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got to figure out how to value your 25 regular questions and clients and find out a way to make more out of it. Otherwise, you will end up doing a lot less. It's the nature of doing something.
I'm doing this. I'm doing this for service.
Yes, but I'm telling you, you can no longer do it, or you will only step backwards on your journey.
Okay. Thank you.
You're at a point where you've advanced so much, you can't advance anymore without taking care of that stuff. And without taking care of that stuff, it's a step backwards.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I needed this. That's why I'm calling, I guess.
Right. Hey, I had my blocks. And so finally, once I asked my value, everything flew.
Okay.
Yeah. People really have no idea what it takes for you to do your job or what it takes for me to do this. And that's why I do these radio shows over and over and over again, for people to figure out what it takes for me. That's why I open up and talk about what it is that I do.
Yeah. No,
You're a
I
medium.
appreciate that.
You do stuff completely different. So let me ask you a medium question.
Sure.
Okay. When you are, let's say, working with a client, is there a specific angel that you use or a collective of angels that you can connect to?
It's a collective. It's not one in particular. And I just ask for all benevolent beings.
Okay. So
for the highest good for both me and the client.
All right. So what I want you to do is to bring that angelic collective right in right now and to have the highest good for asking your value to be shined into you right now so that you can feel it as a stream and code of light of what truly asking your value is so you can continue to be of contribution and service at your new evolving layers.
Okay.
Let that stream
I've got
flow.
it.
Feel that code. Take it in.
Yep.
You realize how important and the key to your change?
Yep.
Compare and contrast when you're not asking your value, and you realize you're operating on microvolts versus macrovolts.
Right.
That's your birthright and legacy, and to be on those macrovolts.
Right. I agree.
Now your next part is implementation.
Yep.
Okay. How often do people do any form of body work or healing on you?
I don't very often.
Well, it's time to get over that. You need
I have to trust.
Yep, you have
I
to
had
trust.
it done last week.
Yeah, you got to go to larger trusting where you're going to need a variety of practitioners to help you get over the hump of letting go of some of the old things that are blocking you, which is giving away to everyone else. There's not going to be one healer you can go do or one thing you can go do. It's a variety of things you have to do over a period of time so you can gain back a lot of your personal authority so that your emergencies mean something to you, because right now everyone else's emergencies mean more than yours.
Okay.
And as long as you remain vigilant to others' emergencies, you are missing some of your own internal emergencies. Like right now, you're having a severe blood pressure issue. Whenever you're doing sessions, your blood pressure is going up. And whenever you're not doing sessions, it's going down.
Oh, okay.
Have you noticed any blood pressure? Are you on blood pressure meds?
No, I've got really good blood pressure. I'm 120/80.
All right. So what I'd like for you to do is to start measuring your blood pressure before you do sessions and after you do sessions. Go get a blood pressure cup. And if you're noticing a big spike in your blood pressure, there's something going on in your individual sessions where you're not breathing right. It might be a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress, and start doing some sacred breath work as regular process, like every 15 minutes, a little something that pops up and tells you to go back to sacred breath work as you're still doing it. Okay. That's just a little internal technique. Getting back to that source energy. Okay. And then you are going to absolutely need to go and find flotation chambers and hyperbaric chambers.
I know of one just around the corner.
Do you know about the hyperbaric also?
No.
Okay, hyperbaric chamber is where you go into a tank and they give you 1.3 pressure increase. So every breath is like 4 breaths. And then they have hard shells, which are pure oxygen that you can intake. And then soft shells, which are compressed oxygen. It's a similar process, but you need a little bit more pressurized time within it. You need to get a lot more oxygen deep into your microcapillaries so you can get a lot of toxins that you've taken on from other people as part of doing session. Okay.
Perfect. No, that makes sense.
Right. And then what you're going to notice is the hyperbaric chamber is going to really fill you full of a lot of life force. And then the flotation tank is going to help negate a lot of the negative frequencies that have been projected on you over the many, many years. We all have them. And then it's going to help neutralize a lot of the charge and polarity you have with, let's just say, the sessions and clients that come with negative entities or shit like that. Okay? And then it's going to pull the swelling out of your body. And once you break internal cyclical swelling around your spinal column between T1, T2, T3, right there is where you have cyclical swelling. And that cyclical swelling is your anxiety and stress points. And you need to go and find somebody that can do acupuncture and open up your governor and conception vessels and then work on your liver and kidneys. So about 8 consecutive acupuncture sessions. Okay. And
I've got a good chiropractor that does that.
Great. So do you have any issues with your neck?
Yes.
Like what?
It's always going out of alignment.
Do you know what they're doing? Do you know what they're doing when they're adjusting it?
No, I don't. They're bringing it back into alignment. I don't know what they're doing. It's the first and second.
Okay. So there's two ways to adjust your first and second, your atlas and your acculus. They're the lower, and the upper. You need to ask them, what are they adjusting, the upper, or lower? Most chiropractors just do the lower, atlas, upper atlas, and axis. And it's a special technique. You got to learn the way to do it just right. Otherwise, it can be a little painful. So not all chiropractors are comfortable doing it, and you have to ask if it's adjusting your upper. And if it is, they are only adjusting your lower, and you need to have your upper adjusted, then you need a time in between times of going back. More than likely, your neck is going out based off of the equinoxes and solstices about every 4 months.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So what that is every month that you are advancing your skill sets, you're resolving large volumes of karma you shouldn't be able to do according to your spiritual contracts that the system has created for you. Therefore, they send a stress frequency back at you, which disrupts the atlas and the axis right in the fulcrum. It's a common thing that they do, but you have to learn to resist as the more light comes, the less perception of light you have. This is that martyrdom to give away to others. So there is a background subtle programming of energy saying you martyr to give away to others, because they figured out how to slightly hack your hologram a little bit with weird light.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. All right, darling, I got to let you go. We're going to take our break right now, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, Robert, take us away to our break.
Okay, we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you much. All right, Robert, to the next caller.
All right, next caller, Edge Crusher.
Edge Crusher, are you there?
Yes, hello.
How you doing? Where are you calling from today?
Maryville, Pennsylvania.
Maryville, Pennsylvania. So how did you find out about me?
Well, actually, I heard about you years ago. I actually did a call-in on East versus West with you and Kathy Ma a couple years ago. And I am now currently much less confused. My whole life has changed a lot, actually. I don't know what I can say on air right now, but it's been an adventure and a half. I fell and broke my back, and I started writing a sci-fi novel, and now things have really changed.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about? What kind of things you want to get some resolution with?
Well, can you, what's going on the 21st of June? There's a lot of things going on right now, we all know. I'm sure. I know that you're talking about the solstice. It was mentioned in the show notes. Personally, I'm going to go do an interesting ceremony that's going to get rid of a negative entity, and it's going to be interesting. I've been given a lot of advice and knowledge to get along with it, but it's getting, I don't know.
So this coming solstice is going to have, if you're an online YouTube PhDer, I would advise you from the 17th to the 23rd to turn off your computer, turn off YouTube, because there's going to be, once again, another massive release of these psychic parasites that are stored all over, and it's going to be spreading a YouTube spiritual disease. Okay? Unfortunately, they have figured out how people learn, how they listen to music, and how you can be subtly overwhelmed by frequencies that allow parasitic energetic entities, very low consciousness ones, that are going to get into your field. Now, this coming solstice, it is going to be a challenge. Every year since 2012, it is wrapped up worse and worse and worse. Everyone's shit's coming to the surface. This is the time that arguments become debates, debates become vengeance, vengeance becomes vendettas, and the next thing you know, in an hour, what was your best friend is your worst enemy. And unfortunately, it's because the separation of entities has increased so much. It comes down to those who are producing their own light and those who are stealing light. those who are self-sufficient with their light and those who are not self-sufficient with their light, those who are self-sufficient in their life and those who are not self-sufficient in their life. Break those categories down and understand that this solstice is going to separate those. And if people start leaving you or your family or subject matters, it's because they're no longer a signature frequency match for the light beings, those that are creating their light. Okay? You are having an entity who's taking your light. When did this thing really come in?
So I had a really crazy transformative psychedelic trip back in May 2017, and then I accidentally burnt receipts in a kind of a not a sacred.
So mystery school adepts, teachers, hierophants, disciples, whatever, they're constantly looking for people to be followers because it's their nature of the dual 0-point function. And with that, they create the hierarchical order so that the teachings can be refined so people will have the human handbook at birth you never got. Why is your skin suit technology, the manual written in Chinese and you're in English? You're not supposed to be in that body, then you need to get the right manual.
So basically the difference, and you can't really sign up for shamanism school, can you? I mean, are there special shaman schools?
There are. I mean, one of the questions I was asked before, what's the main difference between shamanism and mystery schools? And the answer is advertising. And it's got a joke behind it, but it's true. Is shamanism being advertised now? Yeah, it is. But it's a very different way than the mystery schools are being advertised. You see the people that go and get the ayahuasca experience. Well, after that ayahuasca experience, their life's changed. And then they look for something that has a ceremonial community so they can go and recreate that experience where they're protected by a shaman who's not there to influence them or to install a second 0-point function, but there to hold space so you find your true sovereign seat of power in your heart and connect to the universe with all expression.
So as I'm listening to you with the explanations, I'm really seeing that. When you speak of the shamanism and some of the different aspects and practices, it's more about that being using these aspects and practices to find themselves, whereas the mystery schools are teaching you understandings and ways and belief systems. So I guess that's the difference, the mechanics. And you can see that in the way you've explained it, the working with the fire, speaking with the fire, instead of doing a focused discipline at this moment in this way, focusing on these things. The shamanism feels a little bit more free in its aspects. What is that the impression you wanted to give?
In one way, yes, but the other way, it is the clan or the association of clans that ultimately is going to determine if that shamanism concept is, fully expressed, or even is its own limiting factor. Let's say, that clan you live in, it only has enough resources to take 2 people out of every generation to be incarnated back into the family. So the volume of the family can be limiting, the nature of the family. You could only come in as a woman at this lifetime, and that may not be advantageous to your lifetime that you're trying to plan. So the mystery schools are a way for hundreds to get together over lifetimes that they may let's say you have 5 friends that are in a mystery school, and they kind of realize that they're not going to be able to incarnate every time that they want because it is a big challenge. Some may head off to do shamanism for 1 or 2 or 3 lifetimes in the random incarnation mode, while another one could try to do a mystery school and then try to go on a lifetime to meet and follow his other friends so that they can get back into their original mystery school as an adventure of a lifetime. I know that's kind of a tough metaphor to understand, but it's really being able to plan your future and you sharing those moments where groups remote view themselves and then can create a future where those 5 friends are in the same mystery school 500 years from now. And is that coterie, that camaraderie strong enough in their belief with that whatever the teacher is giving them in those sovereign places of power that have been created, like arenas or labyrinths or great alchemical fields of flower, which are going to create the future mead that yourself's going to be be drinking.
All those ancient temples in Asia, where they have some of these schools in these incredibly old buildings and ancient stone layered temples and what have you. I mean, it's all out there, and the shamanism more as though I feel. You create it's more nature,
and you create your own legacies each lifetime, and you don't go back to those ancient buildings like the mystery schools do. Your future generations that are coming in are going to make their own to pass on to them too, and the most powerful of those tools will be shared for the clans, for healing, for ending war, or for something that is special for that particular culture. Welcome back, everyone, to another cold adventure into reality. All right, everyone, sit back, relax, and just allow ourselves to spin the wheel of colors. Holy shit, we got something else to do just before that. As Robert is already spinning the wheel of colors, as we agreed. Robert, what we were doing before. This is the solstice, everyone. So we're going to play a quick clip for you, or I've already kind of screwed and flubbed this up. Robert, did you already play the clip?
No, it's ready to go.
Go ahead and play the clip, and then we are going to talk about this clip after that. Go ahead. Pow, everyone. That is your combination special that we are offering this week. You get the Grand Fire Solstice Ceremony and Living the Mystical Life Daily online course together as your gift for those that are ready to get their journey started, to get out of mediocrity. That's right. Here's your opportunity to make this summer mean something to you and the rest of the future going forward. All right, everybody, just think about this next part of the journey. We're going to spin that wheel of collars, and we're going to find a teacher on this path to the mystical life. Spin the wheel of callers, Robert.
Okay, our next caller will be Brittany Dzierzon. Pardon me if I'm messing that one up.
Brittany, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, where are you calling from today?
Oh, hang on one second. Turn up the volume a little. Hi, Andrew.
How you doing? Where are you calling from today, Brittany?
I'm calling from Utah.
Utah. So how did you find out about me?
So I've been following your material for about 5 or so years now.
Mm-hmm.
I was on YouTube, and the first video I watched was the one with the woman with the Trail of Tears reading.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So what did you want to, what was it about the material that has kept you attracted, and what kind of questions do you want to ask?
Like most people, the material just spoke to me as complete truth, and it made me connect a lot of different dots in my mind. So as far as my question goes, I had this is just crazy that I've actually I just felt like I was supposed to call you today because I had this experience last night. It was very psychedelic in nature. So yeah, I actually
So
it's hard
I'll
for me to
pour you a multi-dimensional cup of coffee and tell us
Okay.
what happened.
So man, sorry, I'm really anxious right now, but anyway, so I feel like the Dreamtime event actually happened last night for me, but I don't know if this is real, and I called in to confirm if this was
So what did
really
you see?
happening to other people. So I had a psychedelic experience. I was in my yard, and I did everything that you have been teaching us, like the balancing of the ancestral energies of the land. I put the in 4 beer bottles with tape over them, but I put my bone broth in them with my prayers. And it was just strange things have been leading up to this event, with in the event I actually realized what all these synchronicities leading up to it were about now, but then I didn't even know what was going to happen. But I went outside, I laid on the ground, I was with my boyfriend, and we were looking up at the sky. I felt so one with everything, and I saw this dragon in the cloud with his little baby fairy, holding a baby fairy, and he saw the dragon too. And then it's hard to remember some of the bits and pieces, but it was everything became one. We all synced, the 4 paradoxical realities synced into one. We all synced together in the experience, and I saw the vision of what you've been talking about, with the video of the puppies going viral and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
You saw the infinite lines of potential.
Mm-hmm. And everything in the experience, I saw fractals, and that I was a creator, and that my backyard was my bubble of reality, literally. It was really cool. I really didn't want it to be not be like that, but I had to go and do laundry to get myself out of it. So I just need to be human, I need to be away from being one with everybody. I have to be just me and doing laundry. I remember hearing you joke about it. It was the best joke I'd heard, because it just was so true. I just want to do laundry, and that's it.
So how long did this experience last for?
Let's see. So it started at I'd say 8 or 9 until, it was 12 hours, but the main part of it started at 10 p.m. my time till about 2 in the morning, I think it was. So it's 4 hours.
While you were on your
But we were just laying on the floor. We were just stuck on the floor, it seemed like. For
what was the psychedelic you consumed?
It was LSD.
Okay. You experienced a form of oneness.
Yeah.
Now what?
Not really sure. I just know now that I just had this realization that nothing matters. All this system is gonna break down here soon. It just seems that way to me.
No,
and
as you fill in the blanks.
Huh?
The vision didn't show you that. It just showed you you're interconnected to it, and your analogical mind is filling in the blanks. You can connect to that infinite source at any time. It's always going to be, once you've done it, now what? Until you learn to manifest the infinite source through your perceptions and create direct manifestations with them. You got access to that for a very specific reason. It wants to know what you're going to do with it, what you're going to create, and your point of view. How are you going to make an impact in this modern world?
I have to self-heal first of all. Like, I feel like that's the one thing that I haven't done yet, and it's extremely hard when you're trying to support, your kids, and you have the job and you have all that. But I know that there is a lot of that self, you're limiting yourself just by your own thinking, that you got to make time for it. And I try as much as I can. And I got to do a lot of the like health stuff now. Today's been very strangely synchronistic in this web call itself, because I feel like everything you've been saying, like, I need to do that, I need to do the nutrition, like I really need to like get this stuff going. I just barely quit my job, and like I feel like too, like the things you've said about like the cars, like that our belief system drives the actual cars themselves. Kind of like this weird thing happened with my car recently, but yeah, I quit my job and I'm starting something like new that might be more relaxed. I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but
What
entrepreneurship.
job did you quit? What job did you quit?
I was working for Goldman Sachs as like a data entry.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I quit, and then I just got hired at this other place that's like kind of like for Amazon. They're like so I'll be like doing stuff in Excel, creating formulas for them. So
okay, so it's computer behind the computer work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when do you start that job?
So Monday.
Okay, so you had a great experience, and now you're going to start this new job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is the pay comparable?
It's the same as what I was making at Goldman. I just like wanted to do something that was not in the city. I felt like it was bringing me down.
I get that. So you're also in an experiencing of your spiritual experience. So that's very important to understand. There's going to be people at this job that you're very much supposed to meet.
Yep, I knew that when she interviewed me. This girl, she has this like crazy cool hair dye, and she said the vibe of the place, and I was like, I know this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So make sure you choose what you're going to wear for your first impression.
So authentically dressed.
Well, obviously, if whatever rules that they have, stay within the rule, right? But stay within the rules. But it's not too flashy, but it is. You have to show your panache and how you know how to accessorize correctly. It's like, you showing off to the makeup crowd, or you showing off to the authentic crowd?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have to do the hair and the makeup and the paint, do it. If not, don't. Just still find your way to balance it so you feel good with the way you go in and to make your first impression.
Okay.
Right? Second thing is, make sure you don't overly look at your cell phone on your first day.
Okay.
People are watching.
I've been in a habit of that this job. Yeah.
People are watching. Turn off your notifications. Okay, for that day, even for that week. Turn off your notifications, because absolutely everyone will judge you if you're a cell phoneaholic or not.
Okay.
So the next thing is, do they make you have to use a company email, or do they want you to use private emails back and forth to talk to bosses or whatever?
I haven't figured that out quite yet, what they're going to be doing.
If they have if they want you to use the private email, stick with that, and don't give anyone out your LinkedIn connections, any of that stuff, until you've made friends or you just see them start friending you. Why? Because you're ending office drama.
Okay.
All right. And every office has it. This is not to say that the office drama is bad there. It's just, be aware that that's coming. Why?
Okay.
Because you're going to this new job and you're supposed to be there. Well, strategize everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many kids do you have?
2.
2? How old?
5 and 2.
5 and 2. Are you married?
In a relationship.
In a relationship. What does he do for a job?
So he works at a place that's called Ahern Rentals, and it's like he's a parts manager.
Okay, I get it. You've been together a long time?
Yeah, almost 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Thinking about getting married?
I have a promise ring, so yeah, I'm sure one day.
Well, it'd be very tax beneficial for both of you. Not
Okay,
that
cool.
but married for taxes, but it makes a humongous difference.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Okay. All right. So what is it that's going on with your health? I know you wanted to talk about health.
Yep, you knew. Okay, so my heart, I have heart palpitations.
Mm-hmm.
Almost feels like it's out of rhythm for some
How
reason.
often?
Very often, probably like at least once a week.
Have you gone to the doctor about it?
Yeah, a long time ago, they did like one of those Holter monitor tests, and everything turned back normal.
Mm-hmm. So then you're having panic and anxiety attacks is what's
yes, that's what they told me to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean you're not having a heart raised. So you're going into adrenal gland fits, where your adrenal glands pump out a lot of adrenal gland and then stop putting out any adrenal glands for adrenaline for a while. So right now you have to understand that you're under some form of continuous fatigue. You have a 2-year-old and 5-year-olds from lack of sleep.
Yep.
Okay. So the most effective thing for you to do is sleep. Okay. Obviously, you can't get to sleep with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old before their bedtimes, right? Okay. Until they're quiet and in bed. You're not going to have that time, are you?
Nuh-uh.
So that means you have to figure out some other way that isn't meditation to get sleep. Okay.
Okay.
You right now, flotation chambers, 1 hour in the float chamber. If you actually fall asleep, it'll be like 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it. I just haven't.
Just go get the membership.
And the energy on myself.
Just go get the membership, and you can save them up. You can bring your kid in with you too, the older one, not the younger one. Cool. Trade with your boyfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell other people about it. Okay?
And then I was just gonna ask, like my son told me he had like yesterday, or right before it happened, he's like, I had a dream about you and Zach, and it was sad, and it was just so strange that it happened right before that. Do you know what that is about, or if it even is
the unlimited point of view coming to you, and validation and confirmation all around you, and that's why your voice is so giddy?
See, I already knew that. I didn't even need to ask. Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now what?
Now what?
That's the fucked up part about giddiness. It doesn't consider now what.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I went through that last night in my little phase. I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I gotta like do something creative. I gotta do. Yeah, this just was the mode I was in. But that's kind of like where I'm at. I kind of want to do eventually some entrepreneur stuff.
Other than work and kids, what are some of those other passions?
I do like Reiki and like healing and things like that. Technology, like there's just so many different things. I do like to play guitar and.
Any bigger plans? Any entrepreneurial concepts in your mind?
I'm not really sure. Honestly, I was thinking about making some type of product that would be useful for people, but can't figure out what that is. I don't know. I just had this like creative spark recently. So
really what you're saying is you have all these ideas that you never can put to paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't you put them to paper?
Because I haven't set out the time to do it. Just sit down and be like, okay, what do I really want to do?
You also don't believe in yourself.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So you have all this entrepreneur energy around you. So you have like I'll simply call it like one of your angel guides is like a barker at a circus, trying to get people to come and spend their $5 on this experience. Right? It's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing, but that's a big reflection of you. You should be a salesman of technology and things and stuff for people to do, even if you don't create them. Find everybody else's brilliant and genius idea and turn around and sell it.
Huh.
Yeah, that's not a part of your makeup, is it?
I did sales once and I absolutely hated it. I started crying, but that was more like corporate sales, not like
Very different.
me selling me and me selling stuff that I wanted.
Right. That's the type of evolution you should be looking for while you're going into this new job, and do your spirit stuff as the hobby on the side.
Okay.
Okay. Why? Because that's the energy that's presenting to you right now. Okay. What creative things can you do with your own creativity? You ever watch Shark Tank?
I don't think so.
Start watching it. And anybody else that doesn't know what Shark Tank is, it's a TV show that's got a bunch of billionaires and investors on it. And they bring 4, 5, 6 people out per show. They present their idea and they determine if they're going to invest there right now in one verbal pitch. Okay.
Love
And
that.
there's some really cool concepts that come out there. Just
Mhm.
the other week I was watching it and there's a 15-year-old girl came out. And guess what? When she was 12, she created a new lacrosse equipment company because all the other lacrosse companies that were out there were making crap equipment that was breaking down. And she made $700,000 in 2 years before she got on Shark Tank.
Wow.
Okay?
That's awesome.
That's a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's
Her
crazy.
12-year-old has 2 employees. Okay? For orders fulfillment. If a 12-year-old do it, anyone out there can do it too. Anyone. Okay? Look for some of those inspirational stories. You got an idea in you that can do what? To be the next viral video that could change the world. Are you ready to throw your hat in the infinite point of view? If your thing can do it? Oh, pressure, huh?
Oh, I had another question.
Go ahead.
So I had these like strange moments. So am I somehow related to this guy, Johann Zierzon? He's like the inventor of beekeeping. I looked up my family tree and I am extremely afraid of bees. I have this extreme phobia and he loved them. Absolutely loved bees.
So did you track it by ancestry.com or something?
I think it was, yeah, something like that. It was like familytree.org, I think.
Okay, and it connected your family tree to their family tree?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So then you have your validation that you're already connected to them.
So what
And
is
the fact that you're allergic to bees or hate bees is ironic and karmic, isn't it?
Yeah.
In its own
Yes.
validation and confirmation. You don't need me to say it.
It's ridiculous. So what can I do to get over that fear?
Become a beekeeper.
Oh no. That's scary.
Would you rather be a lizard keeper or an alligator wrestler? So how did you get so afraid of bees?
It was when I was about 4 years old. I had the swarm of hornets come and like pretty much attack me, and it got stuck in my shirt, and it puked and made me really sick. And ever since then, I just.
It sounds like you got a lot of trauma to release on those pesky hornets.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, trauma.
Bees are not hornets, are they?
No.
So
what about
hornets produce usable honey?
No.
No. So what's wrong with the poor bees, Miss Racist? Here, bee racist.
I feel like maybe, yeah, it's totally wasp, but any little flying thing out there, just it's hard for me to be outside sometimes.
Wow, now any flying thing. That's how Are you ready to confront this trauma head on and not let the 4-year-old rule your world anymore? That could stop your $1 billion bonus coming from beehives?
I hope so. So would ayahuasca be an experience that I should go do for this or no?
Was your LSD experience your first psychedelic experience?
No, I've had quite a few with
Okay.
mushrooms.
Have you ever been on any depression medicines?
No.
Okay. Then I might be okay. And anyone that's out there, if you've ever been on any depression medicines, you have to doubly think about doing any kind of ayahuasca. You will not have pleasant experiences.
I think I took like 2 pills, but that was all.
How long ago?
That was probably a year ago.
Yeah, you're no good. It could be up to 5 years for it to get out of you.
5 years? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, by then I probably won't need it, but
You can have other experiences on non-psychoactive drugs too. And you can go have 500,000 bees all over your body, like all those videos. That's a spiritual experience. I've had it done. Totally changed my life on bees.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I only got bit a couple times through the thing. It didn't really hurt that bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't hurt that bad. It's all like a mind.
Yeah, it's all in your mind. Exactly. So if it's all in your mind, what are you afraid of? Put the bee suit on and go get your $1 billion bonus. I've said that now twice to you.
I feel like it's fear of loss of control too.
Yeah, or all the extra control you could get. Mm-hmm.
So do you see anything else that might be negatively affecting me, that might be hindering my journey?
Yes, fear.
Fear. Okay.
Fear of success.
Okay.
Yeah. Fear of success. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do with success?
Change the world, hopefully.
Okay. Okay. But right now, you don't even know what your success is, do you?
No.
Okay. That's what you got to know thyself with, is really
Know
what
thyself.
your passion's about. And finding your next level of passion is what you want to go and do research on. And I'm not talking getting your PhD in YouTube in it. Okay. YouTube PhDs are just there for instant gratification, and they don't really teach you much. They only teach you a few perspectives and points of view. Okay.
I think I needed to hear that from you, because I think I've heard you said it a million times, but hearing it from you, yes, that totally confirmed it.
Got to put down the Facebook
Get off
Master's
YouTube.
program and put down the PhD in YouTube. Okay. And you got to take up your own self-disciplined, self-illuminated master journey, which is picking up books again and be passionate about reading those books for books' sake and the knowledge and stuff that they come. Go and seek as many classes as you can afford. Like the other caller, been doing it 20 years. How long you been doing it for?
You mean like the PhD in YouTube?
No, in spiritual work.
Oh, I think since my sister passed, I just had this motivation more into it to know the truth.
Okay. So how many years?
So 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
So you got another decade or two, another 2 decades ahead of you. Better start planning. Okay. Go out and seriously go out and take every course you could possibly take and fill yourself with knowledge.
Okay.
Okay. And write about it and journal.
Yes, that's one thing I have an issue with too. Journaling. I need to get jotted down, or there's no purpose to it.
Okay. Do you have a cell phone everywhere you go?
Yeah.
Then start taking voice notes.
Voice notes. Good idea.
Oh, Zen Fu, Grandmaster of the Galactic Historian, obvious. I tell a lot of people this, but they still end up not doing the voice notes. Can you be disciplined enough to try?
Yeah, I can try.
Okay. Because once you get an hour of voice notes, you're going to have all these little nuggets of things that start to come back to you. And you learn to actually take that cell phone that you regularly talk to people with, and you start talking to the cell phone about your ideas. Wait, it talks back to you when you go back to listen to it. That's multidimensional strategic thinking.
Yep, it's amazing. I just recently started doing the advanced heart meditation, and I could feel myself talking to myself in the recording. So that was interesting.
Beautiful. How many times did you record it before you got to where you liked it?
I've only recorded it once so far. So
How long did it take for you to read?
It was about 15 minutes.
Not pretty good. Yeah. So that heart meditation, what has it done for you?
Everything. I feel like it's done so much as far as increasing the synchronicities and like epiphanies that I will have about things. Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I know. So.
All right. So the next level for you here is, what are you going to personally invest as you're going forward?
In me and everything you just said, in doing this entrepreneurship and doing more of the recordings and doing everything that you've been teaching us as well.
And make a strategy and implement it into your calendar that has rules if though you don't follow your implementation of your own strategy.
Okay.
So that you actually make it real. Okay? Instead of quasi faux real. Not really a part of your bubble, but you look at it often, it's a part of your bubble. If you really want to imprint it on your bubble, follow through. Follow through. I'm serious about you and bees.
Yeah. Huh? Okay, that one's, I think that's going to be last on the checklist. I totally avoided that one.
This date and time on this solstice, be said that your $1 billion path to riches was there in the bees.
Oh no. That's lovely. That's lovely.
Alrighty. All right, Donna, I got to let you go and move on to our next caller.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye.
All right, Robert, spin the wheel of callers.
Next caller will be Jonathan Martinez.
Jonathan Martinez, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Andrew. How are you?
Great. Where are you calling from today?
Today I'm calling from Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama. Wonderful. How did you find out about me?
Well, I guess it's been since 2013 that I've been listening in and kind of absorbing all of the information you've been bringing up and kind of triggering within my DNA. And it actually started with a dream that I had. And I had a dream that I was in a room with a man with a dog, and he had this rolled up, what I thought was a joint, and then he smoked it with me. And I realized that I didn't get high from it. And then I woke up, and like 2 weeks later, I discovered you. And then it wasn't up until 2 months after that that I realized that the person in the dream was you, because you had, I guess sometimes you would get rashes or something. And in the dream, that's the way that you looked. And then I realized that I just made the connection. And yeah, I've had a pretty...
Were we smoking a joint?
No, it was tobacco.
Okay. You thought it was a joint, though, because I do roll my cigarettes, and every now and then there's some clips that come out where I have a rolled cigarette and people are like, what is that? I'm like, it's a cigarette. I smoked natural tobacco as part of balancing the energies, even though like, meh, 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 meh. I smoke. Tough luck. Don't judge me.
I do not.
No, I'm talking to the rest of the people out in the world, because it's gonna start a wave, just like wearing leather is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's gonna be a few angry vegans that are gonna send me an email. Sorry. So what did you want to actually like talk about today? The things that you're looking for real validation for?
Well, like many callers and many people, I guess I'm a man of this modern world, and I am actively trying to deal with how I work on my self-gratification and self-love, and not looking externally for things. And you said something earlier in the show that really kind of made me laugh, because it's almost like it is a never-ending journey of like, sometimes I wonder to myself, is it ever going to stop, like this kind of information coming to me, and then like a period where you're going through kind of processing, and it's almost like a low, and then it goes up. And
that happens all the time. It's a matter of we aware of the cycle or not. And oftentimes we suddenly become aware of a cycle, but are unaware of the 3 previous cycles that have created this cycle, or what cycles come after it, because we don't pay attention to our daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly processes that do relate to the sun and the moving, the seasons, and the passing of the stars. We have no comparison and contrast from natural to unnatural world, and we must create that through our own link through all the time-space equations that we choose to be here, present in these moments, so that all time-space equations have the potentiality of becoming you, and how you connect to the ethers of the universe. So you as an authentic universal being can be here present, so that those external sources that are driving us towards the hypnosis of culture, we no longer have to be caught in the practitioners of the cultural hypnosis, who are demanding us to conform. Because you don't want to conform anywhere, and many of the people on the show no longer want to conform.
Yeah, that's true. And it seems like in order to live, there has to be a layer of you that has to interact and kind of conform in a way. And I guess I'm only 25. I'm still young in my life experience. But I find that in the business world, like you said earlier, they will eat you. They'll take everything that you are unless you name your price. And I'm in a point right now where I have a job interview on tomorrow at 9 a.m. I generally cook, and I'm hoping that it goes well. I believe it will. I'm also at a point in my life where there's lots of changes going on. I just moved back to Huntsville from San Antonio because, like, to be honest with you, I've been going through recognizing, like you said, those 3 cycles previous, like these addiction patterns in my life. I've suffered with opiate addiction, and while I was in San Antonio, I started using kratom, and now I moved back to Alabama, and I'm coming off of kratom, and I realized, that ultimately I have the interconnected source, like to my own power and to the heartbeat of Earth Mother. And yeah, it's an interesting time for me, and I can't believe that I got through just now, but wow, it's good to talk to you.
Okay. How long have you done cooking for?
About 4 or 5 years.
You like working in busy kitchens?
I do. I do. It's sometimes though I feel like I get kind of abused because I'll put myself in that martyr position and not stake my claim that, hey,
Are you a kitchen leader, or are you one of those people that just stays in one part of the kitchen? You got to follow someone else.
I'm a kitchen leader.
Okay. And you're going to be walking into taking over a group of people. And you're going to have to invest a lot of people to become their friends.
True.
Okay. Your first impression is going to be vital on them. What kind of restaurant is it?
It's called Melt. And it's a food truck that became a restaurant in Birmingham, Alabama. And then their second restaurant opened here in downtown Huntsville.
Were they on the food truck shows?
I'm not sure.
I think they were. I think that name's familiar. I watch a lot of cooking channels and food channels because I love that journey.
Yeah, I love everything you've put into.
Go have a blast with it, because food trucks and that come to restaurants, they have great teams that work together. It's all about communication. If they don't already use the internal radios, suggest you start using internal radios. And more than likely, if they're big restaurants and know how to work fast, they need those. The next thing is restaurants are fun. You make some fun friends. Right?
Yeah, I need some good fun friends in my life.
Fall back into the wrong crowd. Okay, you're looking for the spiritual crowd, right?
Yes.
So what you have to do is learn how to shut down the party portals. We all have them. We all have the desire to go out, but sometimes those portals are created in us that lead us down the wrong thing over and over and over and over and over again. And so the next thing you know, you're caught up in something you can't get out of. Okay, and that's your lifestyle, and you have to cut all your friends out because those are your friends. You need to create a whole new friends portal for yourself. And you might want to see that as your journey with the solstice right now. For the next 7 to 10 days afterwards, you'll still be able to have very similar solstice energies that are going to keep going and helping you move forward. So Sunday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to go for an interview. Go ready. Go ready. Okay? Really just go ready. Remember, also ask your value too. Right? Sometimes people like that in restaurants dictate what their value is. That's what they're going to pay the person. Also, what are their fringe benefits that it could come with it?
That's true. That's something I realized with the last job that I, But
so, do you have any desires, anything other than doing, restaurants? What are your other ideas?
Well, my passions. When I was around 14, I taught myself how to play guitar, and then I started writing. And I've been writing, original music for about 11 years now, mainly just for myself. I also found out that I'm pretty good at painting and artwork, and so I'll do some things like that to myself, not as much as I have done with music. And then also, like, around the time actually when I discovered you, I had a series of multiple dream sequences and things that happened, and then I started writing a few I guess, series novels that are kind of sci-fi fantasy that kind of I try to put a lot of what I believe is going on into them and things like that.
Okay. How long were the books?
Well, I've gone through a period where I have lost my notebooks and then had to rewrite them, and then now I have like the basic outlines of everything, and I'm having to retype it. So far, one of the first one, which is Renaissance, it's like 21 pages, and then it has a prequel that's like around 21 pages so far, and then I have a few others that also I'm working on.
Okay. When you can top the 100-page model, you have something that's actually a marketable book.
Okay.
Okay. I believe Amazon Kindle is a minimum of 15,000 words. So 20 pages is probably just short of 15,000 words.
Okay. If so, my stories go on like past 21 pages. That's probably like a quarter of the book that's actually written. But again, I have to sit down and actually type it.
I know, which is a big journey. And it's also your first edit, because you're going from paper to type is great. I do it all the time. And it just got to the point where I just did everything in typing because I was writing so much. I also have a series of books that I've never put out in the sci-fi fantasy realms too, that are like in the 300-page level each one. And there's part 1, part 2, and then there's another one in sci-fi. One fantasy, one sci-fi, all around 300 pages each. Each book, 6 books, so around 1,800 written pages, something around there. But I chose to make my documents that big, the overarching stories and all the stuff that, again, it relates to the teachings that I have in different aspects. So being a chef and being a writer is very common. And you can use your cooking time where you're in connection with your crew to help dialogue writing. You might have somebody who's running your fryer that's one crazy guy, but can come up with some of the best one-liners out there. And you might have another guy who's your line guy or whatever it is, and he's really a piece of shit outside of work, but he's actually responsible inside. And use your characters from the you see in the restaurant, and they will write themselves. And I mean write themselves. Okay? Dialogue is vital, man, and it's all around you. And you could be the running the dialogue every night. You could even play a game with your guys, like, hey, I've got a page of dialogue that I'm doing. Can you read it before? And we talk about it in between sessions, if in between slow times or medium times, or does this line work? Or you're trying to create a character that's using a one-liner to stump somebody, and does it work? Or randomly in the restaurant, somebody says the one-liner back to you. And if they do, you give them $1. Okay? Bribery works great.
Yeah.
And you can do that in the restaurant industry. You can't do that in any other industry. And you know that, right?
True.
Okay. Because they want everyone to be authentic and being real and connected to the customers, and the customers to see a little bit of a show too.
Yeah. I have another question. So my bloodline comes from Puerto Rico and Venezuela, and my mom has had like a very strong spiritual connection, and like my family, between my half brother and me and her, we have these interconnected dreams. And like I guess I've always been sensitive since a young age, and I don't exactly know why. I think it has to do with my bloodline, and something to do with Puerto Rico, and but could you say anything about that?
Trying to figure out how I can give you an answer that helps you understand what you're asking. You really want to know about what's in your lineage, is what you're really asking?
Yes.
So the energies in your lineage are powerful consciousness explorers, but there are also some rat bastards in your lineage too. And it's not to say one is more better or worse than the other, but when your mother and father came together and created you as an offspring that has all the benevolence and malevolence of the whole lineages that are come together. You're a hybrid of this perceptual process right now. And I think it's important to understand that you came in karmic free, meaning the only thing that could really negatively affect you is you choose to resolve other people's lineage stuff.
Wow.
Right.
I've felt that.
Wow. Yeah. Stop resolving everyone else's shit. Start resolving your own. Because guess what? That lineage owes your ass.
I knew it.
No one's in awareness. Therefore, it's they're never going to pay up, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. But because the lineage owes your ass and it's not going to pay it back, that means you get to have a little bit of artistic, impressions here. Your own way to paint whatever story it is that you want to write, literally. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as for your music career, don't be surprised if you find out that you can be really good at music and you're going to have to make a choice, songwriting or story writing. Can you do both? For a short period of time you can, but when you really want to take documents over that 100-page mark or into that 80,000, 100,000 word mark, you really have to become document surgeons and very special at your own rewrites and rereads, rewrites and rereads. And every now and then jumping into writing a song is cool, but if your whole time is I'm going into music, I'm going into writing, you will be torn down the creative centers and you may not get all this other work done, but you won't get projects done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt that, and I feel like there's something that I should focus on right now, and it's got to be either one or the other. And I feel like I've been playing music for so long that I would like to kind of hone my skills in either my art or my writing.
Why don't you mix your art and your writing and try to make your artwork reflect what you're writing about, so it starts as the potential of a graphic novel. Semi-graphic novel.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I have actually sketched out some of my characters before whenever I first started writing them. I have like some elf characters and talking foxes and whatnot. But yeah, I might do that. That's a good.
You can also look at augmented reality books. A whole new way to present books. It's the digital revolution of books that can do way more things that books can normally do. Like the graphics pop up reading them, and there's little things that senses your eyes moving where you're reading it. And graphics pop up in the background to keep you going on. There's all sorts of things. Right now, just get graphics working on it. Just start your drawing. Yeah. Okay. Just like in a comic book. All right, brother, I got to let you go and end the show now. We are a little bit over time, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, man. You have a great day. Good talking to you.
You too. Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Solstice Adventures into Reality. All right, everyone. Take it easy and have a great day.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important? Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.